Joining us now is Ojinika Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jenix.
Good morning. How are you, Dr. Abati? Good morning, Tundu Abiola. Good morning, Rufai. That was an exclusive interview, really heartfelt. Well done, guys. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, the police on Thursday, October 21st, charged 25-year-old Ali Harbi Ali of Somali heritage with the murder of conservative lawmaker David Amos. They tagged the killing an act of terrorism by a supporter of the Islamic State group. Prosecutors allege that Ali targeted Amos because the lawmaker had voted for airstrikes on Syria. In the United States, a 47-year-old Northern Carolina man, Geraldo Mendoza, was sentenced to 11 years in prison for drowning his 4-year-old daughter in the baptismal pool of a Catholic church in 2016. Mendoza had been smoking methamphetamine for 3 days and began believing his 2 youngest children were being attacked by evil when the attack occurred. In Haiti, Wilson Joseph, the leader of the 400 Mawozo gang that the police say is holding 17 members of a kidnapped missionary group, is seen in a video released on Thursday, October 21st, saying he will kill the victims, including an 8-month-old baby, if he doesn't get what he is demanding.
I swear by thunder, and if I don't get what I am asking for the missionaries, I will put a bullet in the heads of these Americans. I'm finished speaking.
Under sports, 24-year-old Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles broke down in tears in an emotional interview on the Today Show as she discussed how she is still scared of gymnastics and how dealing with the twisties meant she no longer was able to do stunts she had been doing forever.
I'm happy that I can be a leader for the survivors and bring courage to everybody speaking up, so I'm happy to be a voice for them, but we go through our own things, and it's hard, but the twisting, once I got back, will come back, but I'm still scared to do gymnastics.
Finally, under entertainment, R&B singer R. Kelly was placed on a suicide watch on Thursday, just weeks after a New York jury found him guilty of child sexual abuse and sexual offenses. Kelly, who faces 4 separate charges, including a child prostitution charge, is facing anywhere from 10 to 100 years in prison and a maximum amount of 20 years for racketeering. Well, let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Indigenous people of Biafra, on Thursday, as some lawyers were denied access to the courtroom by operatives of the Department of State Services. The lawyers, in their numbers, protested in front of the Federal High Court in Abuja, where Kanu was rearraigned and pled not guilty to an amended 7-count charge bordering on treasonable felony and terrorism. The highly anticipated trial, which was touted a public trial, was marred by controversy as journalists were also denied access into the courtroom. Well, outside the courtroom, thugs attacked Revolution Now campaigner and human rights activist Omoyele Sowore, who was dressed in traditional Ohafia regalia to show support for Nnamdi Kanu. Well, here's a video of security operatives arresting the thugs.
Police are here watching them. Not doing anything. Understand? I know that you won't understand. Yes, yes,
Well, I guess this explains why there was heavy police presence in front of the courtroom yesterday at the trial. But the controversy really is that people were not allowed, even journalists were not allowed into the courtroom. I guess it was just a list of journalists that had submitted prior to the trial, which is really upsetting for a lot of people, because it just shows that the federal government is going to continue to deny people the access to freedom of association. Tundu Abiola.
Well, I did hope that anybody who has their credentials. If you're a journalist, you should be allowed in, because this is obviously a very high-profile, really important case. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. We gather that they were allowed in at the gate, but when they now got to the door of the court, they were now told they need to get clearance, and it now just became impossible to get that clearance. If they have their ID and they've produced it, it shouldn't be a problem. But yes, I wondered why there was so much security, but I guess this is why, because of the actions of these thugs. I find this topic, I don't like to discuss this, quite frankly. I'm going to be completely honest about it. This whole issue of will Nnamdi Kanu be presented in court, all the commentary on how he looks, whether from how he looks we can, assume that he's been treated well or not, or this issue of his lawyer trying to have him transferred to Kuje Correctional Service, for me, is really triggering. The circumstances are completely different. We didn't have terrorism to contend with, but all of this treasonable felony, it brings very bad memories for me. So I find this very difficult to talk about, and it's a shame that we're still here as a country. All these memories that I have, I should have hoped to be completely buried and not, come forth watching all these scenes. It's really upsetting. I don't want to say anymore.
Sorry to do. Dr. Bati, your analysis on this topic.
Okay, the key thing here is Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution, the right to fair hearing. Did Nnamdi Kanu enjoy his right to fair hearing yesterday? Well, he was presented in court, as has been demanded by other stakeholders, including the Ohanese Indigbo, because you cannot try a man for an offense that has not been read to him in a language that he understands. That's one of the provisions in sections 1 to 12 of Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution dealing with fair hearing. It was also presented in court, as had been requested by other stakeholders in that matter. Now, the issue we're dealing with is why were persons not allowed to get into the court? Now, Section 36, subsection 3 of the same Constitution that I quoted earlier says that hearings of court or tribunal must be held in public. If it will be held in public, it means that there will be persons there. However, in Section 36, subsection 4, there are conditions under which the court can say persons can be excluded from proceedings, and the grounds are specifically stated, either with regard to defense, to public security, to public morality, to public order, or where interests of persons who are under 18 may be violated, or where, there are issues with regard to the privacy of the parties to the case. So which of these applied in this particular case? I cannot see it, because there was no extraordinary situation yesterday at the Federal High Court in Abuja. And the decision to exclude persons from the proceedings, I've not seen it anywhere on record that the order came directly from the presiding judge, Justice Bita Inyako, who was the presiding lordship in charge of that case. However, this was not the first time that journalists will be excluded from the proceedings in the Nnamdi Kanu case. This was the second time. And the other time, I thought the argument by the court was that the DSS was supposed to provide a list of journalists who had been accredited to be part of the case. And at this time around, there was no such list. So journalists were kept out. Let nobody complain later that the court was misrepresented or the proceedings were misreported if journalists were kept out. So, because the role of the journalists, of the media in this, is the right of the people to know. With regard to lawyers, we're told that previously, before the adjournment of the case, that the court had ruled that both sides, both prosecution and the defense team, can only have in court 5 lawyers each. Now, yesterday, was there a directive to that effect by the court? What is out there, is that we can't put our finger on what the specific order of court was. But what we saw on display was the overzealousness of security operatives. I think the situation could have been managed better. Security operatives responding to, in their own imagination, whatever threats they thought existed, probably took the decision to exclude people or to control the crowd and all of that. And that's what people have been reacting to. Stopping lawyers who even had some other cases within the court premises is something that the NBA is not happy about, which is understandable. And the truth of the matter is that the court, the law court, is a lawyer's workshop. If they have other issues to address in court, it would be wrong to bar them from going there for overzealous excuses that may be offered by the security agencies. But so far, what we know in terms of outcome is that, the charges, amended charges were read to the accused person, and he pleaded not guilty. And there was an issue about whether there's even a legal basis for the, redefinition of the charges. And that has been adjourned to November 10. It's just a way of managing sensitivities better, and for, security agencies not taking decisions on behalf of the court.
All right, then we'll take another story. Following the two-day attack of the Abuja-Kaduna rail line on October 20th and 21st, the Nigerian Railway Corporation cancelled its services on Thursday as authorities commenced investigation into the incident. The train was reportedly attacked by explosives by gunmen alleged to be Boko Haram insurgents. The windshield of the train was shattered, and a portion was blown away during the incident. One of the victims of the attack, Shehu Sani, a former senator representing Kaduna Central, in a tweet said it took a miracle for him and other passengers on the train to escape.
Officer! Look at
this. This is completely unacceptable.
This is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
But you see,
Wednesday,
when there's a case of hemorrhoid, then you have people that hemorrhage. That's what's happening to Nigeria. There's a case of both security, moral, every spare hemorrhoid, and the people are hemorrhaging. There was a report yesterday that there was intelligence reports released that this was going to happen. And nobody did anything about it.
This was from Daily Nigerian, right? From
Daily Nigerian.
Yes.
Nobody did anything about it. So that's to show you the hemorrhoid in the security situation in Nigeria. To go one step further, when you hear the reaction of the NRC to this, they called it vandals that did it. This is not a vandal that did it. This is an explosion. Do you know what it means to rip cement up to the fact that you are seeing the rod inside of cement, and you call these vandals? Oh, they must have had a lot of time on their hands to do this. I keep asking, when are we going to stop all of this in this country? Is this country not bleeding enough? Is it not hemorrhaging enough? All hands must be on deck. Investigations must start. But the question is, what comes out of the investigation in the end? Nothing. Yorubas will call it babu. We cannot build a nation this way. And amidst all of this, we are still petting these people. We don't want to declare them terrorists. Senator said declare them terrorists. Nasir Rufai wrote a letter yesterday. He said he wrote a letter at 27 to declare people terrorists. Nothing has been done. We are still calling them bandits. We are joking. We are playing with the fire. I will quote Bono from YouTube.
Right.
He said, we are playing with the fire, but let's pray the fire doesn't play with us.
All right, then. Shall we take our final story? Analyzing this video showing an elementary school in Edo State where students are subjected to study in the most atrocious of conditions. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Arosa Primary School in the heart of Benin, Apapaba Road. I'm here this morning because I came to park my car inside the compound and I saw some children. So I thought maybe it was an abandoned school. Only for me to find out that it's a functional school and kids are actually having class. Right now they're in break. As you can see, it's raining and this is a class where people are. This is a class where people are children are taking lecture. In the heart of Benin, this is a class where children are taking lectures. Something like this is not good. This is not good at all. The government has to come to the rescue of this school right now because this is appalling. This is really, really appalling. Children are inside the rain. Children are inside the rain taking classes in this school. This is an embarrassment to us. This is an embarrassment to Nigeria. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. When they break, one class. This one ready for the first. How do they take class for here? So you see, everywhere is raining and the kids have nowhere to even stay. So a lot of them are outside because they cannot even have there's practically no roof over their head anymore. What about this class? Completely collapsed. This class collapsed?
Yes, sir.
Now, wow. So how do you people manage to take classes? Your former class? What class are you? My sis. Yes. So how are you people managing only that one class now? Primary 5 and primary 6. Wait, calm down.
This is so appalling, so unacceptable. I'm calling on the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, to look into this. This is unacceptable, Tundu.
The man who filmed this did such important work. And you know what's the most disgusting thing about it? Is that the children know that they've been treated unfairly.
Yes.
Look how they're pointing it out. They know that they deserve better than this. It's a disgrace. Completely unacceptable.
Thank you very much, Ujineka.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend.
Well, yes, it is a weekend.
Yes.
Well, that's all I have for you on what's trending today. See you next week.